Welcome back to another episode of The State of the Strong, a Bull Brand podcast. I loved episode 1 and 2, and I couldn't wait to get back into my seat for episode 3. Also, just to see Lirai. How are you doing?
Oh, man.
I'm so sweet, eh?
How you doing?
I'm good, friend. How are you?
I'm happy to be back. The weather's a bit cold, but I hope that the conversation is going to be fire so that we warm it up, we get the things going. And I'm excited for the guest that we have with us today, okay? I'm going to tell you just a little bit about him. He is, I'm not going to go too much into it. We're just going to say that he is a creative entrepreneur extraordinaire. He's a Malema.
He is a Malema.
So I think Parliament needs to give him a seat there in arts and whatever because he's the guy.
He's the guy.
He's the GOAT. I'm talking about Forbes 30 under 30 type of the GOAT.
Exactly.
Austin Malema, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
Damn. I best take that intro and put it in my bio.
No, we got you.
Creative entrepreneur.
Yes.
They need to give you a seat there in the parliament, you know?
That's who Austin is. He's a photographer, father, filmmaker, fun guy.
Fun guy. Also, you are adding fun guy to the CV.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know him personally. I know Austin Malema. If anybody's listening, I'm just name dropping right now, right here. Austin, it's so good to have you on the show, brother.
Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah.
It was a pleasure to be here.
Today's going to be great, but we're going to play a game first.
Oh, damn.
Okay.
Oh, damn.
This is called 60 Seconds of Strong. Apparently, our questions have even changed. If you're listening via podcast right now, I've just opened the jar.
I sort of asked if I could pull my own question. I don't know if that's allowed.
I don't know.
He might be slower. That's the problem.
Okay, cool.
Okay,
That's fine.
explain it first.
It's fine.
We're not sure. Let me
yeah.
explain it to you. So I've got little slips of paper, and I'm going to hand them to you. You need to get through them as quick as possible. You have 60 seconds, and it's basically a prompt.
Oh, damn.
So
okay, this is a
you'll
bit
see
scary.
it's pretty straightforward.
Say
Okay.
Austin
I thought it was just
Malema
one.
is, and you finish it.
Oh, damn.
Are you ready?
Yes.
I've got my timer. Let me just double
damn.
check that I've got my timer. I do. 60 seconds. Starts in 3,
She set me up.
1, go.
Slay queens are beautiful. Strength is the ability to move. Twitter is dark. Money, I need a lot of it. Debit orders are damning to the mind. South Africa is the best country to live in.
Nice.
Power is deluding. Unemployment is very high in this country.
30 seconds.
YouTube is a university. Dreams are valid. TikTok is something that I should think about joining. Life is difficult. Umjolo, yo.
10 seconds.
Load shedding is demanding, like literally. The metaverse is the future.
5 seconds.
Amapiano is worldwide. Escom is boring.
Time. That was pretty good. Austin, do you want to count how many you got for us, brother?
Yes.
Let's do
so
it.
I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11,
Okay.
12,
Okay.
13, 14, 15, 16, 17.
17
Yeah.
for Mr. Malema. That's
What's
pretty
the
good.
highest?
Yeah, we've gotten high. We've gotten high. You'll see at the end of
Oh,
the season.
damn.
I don't want to
Oh,
tell you, we ruined the whole episode. We barely started.
Okay.
But you still
Okay.
did very good.
Okay.
You didn't do the highest, but
Like
you did good.
everybody wants to be a winner in life.
And that's the thing. Austin, you are one of the best in your industry, so I know you don't like losing. Talk to
I
me
don't.
very fast for the people who don't know. Who is Austin Malema? What does he do right now today?
I don't think I've ever thought about this intro in a while. Like, Austin Malema is an entrepreneur. I actually love what Leroy said. I'm a creative entrepreneur more than anything. I thrive in entertainment. So I'm a photographer, director, entrepreneur. I own my own business, RTC Studios, and I'm a dad, and I'm a all-round fun guy. Like that's really what it is.
They're adding this fun guy.
told you guys. I
No.
told you.
Okay, wait. I
Yeah.
need to address something
Yeah.
because
Yes.
Sibu said that thing of I know him personally, so I'm gonna name drop. And you know what the crazy thing is though? He said photographer, but it's not just photographer.
Yeah.
He doesn't just take pictures. You know, I feel like in South Africa, if you are a person that is celebrated, you know, like a celebrity, it doesn't count. You know how Drake says, don't tell me you a supermodel if you ain't been in Vogue. Don't tell me you're a South African celebrity if Austin Malema has not
not
shot
shot-
you.
if you don't
That
have
is literally
Oh
what the
my
situation
God.
is.
You are right.
That's the level that he's at.
You are right.
Do you get what I'm
I
saying?
get you. If you don't have an Austin pick, I'm so sorry to you. Hey?
Now, I want to go back
Yes,
in
ma'am.
time. I mean, when you were but in rural vendor. Oh,
Yes.
woman.
These bios say such things.
That's what the bios say. They're trying to push that agenda. You know that agenda.
I hate that agenda, though. I hate it. I hate it.
Tell me why.
I feel like poverty porn is something that most of us as South Africans love, like the story of the underdog. But sometimes you grow out of it that it doesn't matter as much. Like, you know, it's rural vendors where I grew up. Like, poverty porn is not something that I want to glamorize. We like glamorizing the struggle. And I don't remember who I had this conversation with, and they're like, "Dog, you're good now. Like that should not be your life. Like you know, poverty porn and where you come from." Yeah, it's part of your story, but it shouldn't be a big part of your story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, but I feel like a lot of us feel like we need to speak of it because then it motivates people in those situations. But, you know, I see other people hold on to those stories even though they're so successful that it becomes how you define them. And that's not how I want to be defined.
I totally get you, especially that thing of, you know, I made it out the hood. There's some
Yeah.
points where, okay,
You need to
now
drop it.
be where you are right
Yes.
now. But I want to go back to when you were 7 years old, there
Yes.
where you were.
Yes.
Right? Is it 7 years old or grade seven? One of them is a 7. But when you discovered that, when you came to the realization that this is something that you want to do,
Yeah.
being in the environment that you were with, I don't know how much exposure you had. How was that even something that was a possibility to you? Because the term creative entrepreneur is something that we're only talking about now. When you are a father to somebody.
Yeah. I think it's something that I didn't think about, right? I always tell people like, you know, and people laugh at me when I say this. I always knew I wanted to be famous, right? That's one thing I knew that I wanted to be in my life. And I didn't know how that was gonna happen. So I thought I was gonna be a famous film director. You know, this is in grade 7. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna direct films.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be someone who's famous and make so much money, like everybody's gonna know me. And that the whole notion of this whole thing was based on fame more than anything else. Forget the creative, the entrepreneurship.
I'm glad you're honest
It
about
was
that.
it was the fame was the driver. Like, you know, you see people that are famous and what they have, and you want that as
Sure.
well. And for me, growing into that space, it kind of, you know, allowed me to learn so much because I knew I was gonna be famous and I was gonna be a director. And I am all those things today. But it kind of took a detour for me to get there. Right. So I went from being a photographer. I studied film first, right? Which was quite interesting because, you know, and then when I got to film school, I didn't study directing. They convinced us that producing is where the money is. And I was like, okay, cool. Fame, money, I'm getting somewhere here.
Ticking the boxes.
Ticking all the boxes. And then I kind of like got into writing because I was passionate about writing when I was young. And I got into writing, producing, editing, and cinematography. And all of those kind of contributed to where I am today because the cinematography contributed to the photographer. The writing contributed to the director. And then producing, I'm a producer as well. So all of it kind of culminated into making me who I am now, the entrepreneur that I am, because as a producer, you need to think about the money and how to get around that. So all of it, you know, was something that was bound to happen from the dream of being a grade 7 student who wanted to be in the creative space.
But you really secured yourself because you are skilled in all 3 phases of film and
Yeah.
everything that's attached to that: pre-production,
Yeah.
actual production
And
and
post.
post-production. You see that one? That one. You see that one?
That's the one we all cry about. Post.
You guys don't know.
Yeah.
You all don't know.
It's tough. It's not easy.
It is.
It's
It
tough.
is.
Yeah. You were talking about money just now,
Yeah.
and I think that's a very big motivator for a lot of people. It's funny that you brought up fame, but money for like right now, a lot of people look at the creative industry. They look at creative entrepreneurs and they go, hey, these brothers and sisters are making money. Hey, they're not in the offices, but somehow they're driving the same cars as the people in the
office.
offices. You know, you're
Yeah.
not. I don't think you're sort of a traditional entertainer. You know, you're not a musician. You're not like what people are normally used to. But we're making money. So, what do you say to the people who want to be in the space, want to be creative entrepreneurs, whether it's photography, directing, producing, creative directing? Is there space for people
think
coming in 2023?
In 2023, I think there's a open up the industry is something that people use a lot on social media, and I feel like they use it for all the wrong reasons, right?
Sure.
And I feel like people open up the industry without trying hard enough to get into the spaces. They feel like they deserve to be given the platform, and it's like nobody ever gave me a platform. I had to fight for my platform, my space in this industry. Like I had to work my way up from the bottom, and people say, open up the industry, and it's like, what have you done to show that you want to be in this space, right? And I feel like I'll probably get attacked for this, but it's the way of people. People just feel like they deserve to be given these platforms without having done anything to show why they deserve the opportunities. And we use social media as our entire thing to say, this is who I am on social media. You should follow me. And it's like, what work have you done to say you want to be in this part of the industry?
Yeah.
Show me that.
On
And then
that-
you'll get into that
Sorry,
place.
it's reminding me of something that makes me so mad as a YouTuber right now. Do you know how many people start YouTube channels and they say, please subscribe to me, I'm going to drop my first video next week. And it's like,
Yes.
how? Mara, no ways, guys.
Why do you want the subscribers before you show them what they're subscribing
Yeah,
to?
upload 10 videos first and just share.
I want to know
and
if I'm
then-
interested in what
Exactly.
because as a person, I might like you as a person.
I feel
but I
attacked.
might not like your content that you're putting out.
Yeah. But
That's
if there's
the
no
reality.
content, you don't even know
I
what
don't
you
even
like.
know what I'm
Yeah.
like, what I'm
Yeah.
subscribing to. You just want me to add numbers to you because you want to have numbers.
Yeah.
Doesn't
Yep.
make sense,
That's
man.
yeah.
It's very weird.
That's the industry.
On that note,
So-
if you guys are watching us right now on YouTube, please make sure that you subscribe to
Yes.
Bull Brand's YouTube channel.
So just so you guys understand, to answer the question, there's a lot of space in the industry for people to come in, but you need to show and how different you are and your contribution to the industry. You can't just be another person who's coming in to be a replica of Austin Malema or whoever that you follow, or whoever's work that you like. You can't be that person
Yeah.
and say, oh no, but nobody notices me. Yes, because there's so many people singing the same tune. So how are we supposed to notice you? If you're in a choir and you're like dead center in the middle, like how are you supposed to stand out? You can't. If you don't stand out, nobody's gonna notice you.
You know what the thing about the opening up the industry thing as well is that there's the new one. The new one is relocating.
Oh, yeah,
Lady
yeah.
Naribatlo, you know what?
Yes.
That
Definitely.
one.
That
Yes.
TikTok one, I'm
That
hearing
you see
yes.
that one,
Yeah.
yeah. But I think a big part of this business is knowing people. You know,
There's knowing people, and then there's talent. Talent is a
True.
big factor. You can know people, but you still won't make it anyway, because you'll make it into one show and then it's like, okay, cool, yeah, you got in, but you didn't stand out. You made
Yeah.
it, but you need to stand out to get onto the next show.
Yeah.
Right. And the reason the same characters or the same people, same actors getting different characters in different shows is because they're good at what they do.
do you think so?
I do think most of them, like, because if they weren't, like, why would you be going on to the next show? There's so many actors that aren't getting work. But it's like, what's the issue? What's the problem?
Ooh.
What were the strongest influences that you had at that time that made you want to say, I want to have this thing?
I think at that time, the biggest influence was money more than anything else. Like, look, most of us do things for money. Like, whether you want to have a lot of it or just enough to survive, money is a biggest influencer in the decisions that we make.
True.
Like, for me, that was, I saw what money could do. People have Lamborghinis, people have all these things. I also wanted to have those things. And it's great to dream when you're young, and you want to have those things. And that became the biggest driver. And people say money is the root of all evil. We understand that. But money is also what we need to get what we
Yeah,
want.
it's access,
Right? It's
yeah.
access. And the biggest thing that influenced me was money. Like, I always say, like, I feel like people will look down on you when you say these things. But the truth is, a lot of us get into situations, not because we're talented, not because, no, the talent is what gets you the money, but you want to do things because you want to be paid.
Austin, here on the State of the Strong, we like to talk about South Africans and what makes them strong. I need to ask you that question straight up. What do you think makes young South Africans, especially, such a strong people?
I think I'm trying to find the correct English word so I don't get it wrong, right?
It doesn't have to be English.
I think we're prone to difficult situations that we're able to literally work through anything, to be honest. Because we face so many difficult situations on a regular, just as who we are as South Africans or as a country, whether it's financial, whether it's employment, whether it's, home or situations at home, that, you go through so many difficult situations that sometimes it seems like it's easy for other people, other people, when they look at you, they're like, oh my God. Like when they hear your story and they're like, is that where you came from? Like, really? But it's because we're strong people. And we go through all these situations and we still survive them, and we don't really hold onto them like we do. Unless someone is holding it to advertise themselves to be like, I really come from a dark place. And it's like, yeah, but now you're fine. Like what we were speaking about in the beginning. Dark places always have light in the end. Like once you make it, I feel like I grew up in Venda. I live in a very nice suburb now. Like there's nothing to hold on about where I come from. It's part of my story, but my current story is where I live, and that's the biggest part of my life right now.
So what was, for you, what has been the most difficult thing with being in the industry? I mean, like we said, you've been doing it for a long time, from taking pictures of fashion bloggers back in the day. We were all there, Austin. Fashion bloggers,
side eye.
Now to honestly, it's not even now to front covers, then to front covers. You're creatively directing for massive soapies. Like, what is the most difficult for you, like, in the past 10 years?
I think it's funny that we're having this conversation, and I was having it with someone yesterday. I think we're speaking about how everybody says it's hard to start, right? But the hardest thing is staying in the industry and at a certain level. That's the hardest part. It's hard to get in, but once you are in, I've been in this industry for 13 years, and I'm still growing in strides. And the hardest thing is staying consistent and growing in the space that you are in. That's the hardest thing, because the environments keep changing. The challenges keep changing. What you do, like, when I started as an individual. Now I run a business with 9 employees. Like, how do you make sure that there's enough work for everybody? How do I make sure that I am not cutting people out of work because I'm not doing all the work that I want to be doing? Or I'm not hoarding all the work for myself and not for everyone else? Those are the real challenges of, staying consistent and growing a business and growing as a person, where you say, it's not about me, it's about everybody else as well. So, like, people don't understand that. Like, starting, it might be difficult, but being in an industry for as long as one has been, that's the hard part.
Staying on that level that you're speaking of, especially for you, must be so difficult though, because you're a headliner type of guy. I won't lie to you. There's an article. Hey guys, I read this and I was like, what on earth? There's an article that came out about Tusombedu being at Paris Fashion Week. You know what the headliner was? Austin Malema shoots Tusombedu at Paris Fashion Week. The whole article didn't say anything about Austin. It was about Tuso being at Paris Fashion Week. But he's the one that sold the article.
They knew the name had to be there.
His name went before Tuso's. How do you maintain being at that level?
I think it's always about challenging yourself and, being open to new opportunities and trying out new things. Like, for one thing, I know that staying in South Africa is something that is great for other people. We're having this conversation off air. But for me, I think the big thing would be to move globally, because that also just shows your moves as a person, and there's more attraction to that as well, because it just shows that, your perspective is global, right? And then when you move from South Africa, you are more sought after than you are when you're at home. Because when you make it out globally, then back home, they're like, oh, damn, actually, he is homegrown. Maybe we should bring him back. We do love the stuff that he was doing. There was a lot of chatter about my trip overseas. People are like, oh my God, now you're back. What's happening? And it's like, this is what I should be doing. I should be moving and doing work overseas. And then everybody watches you like properly. And then when you come back, they're like, oh, damn, we should book him. And then that also allows you to be like, okay, cool, my rate is going up because I'm doing work outside of the country. So I'm going to charge in dollars. I'm going to do this. So it's almost like you're playing the game for yourself where you're like, okay, cool. Exposure internationally means that a lot more eyes are on me locally.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And then when I come back locally, it means that my value has gone up. And that's what a lot of people don't seem to understand. Like all these things that we're doing is for my growth and also to go outside and learn what is happening on the global scale as well.
Yeah.
He just dropped the strategy.
One thing, and I hope people are listening, hey?
They have to.
Yeah, I hope people are listening because you won't become anywhere
Oh my
close to the
God.
Austin unless you take these in. You were talking about having employees. How
Yes.
important is community to you in what you do?
Oh my God. I love how everybody says it's Austin Malema, but Reason, the artist, Caesar Alkaline, every time he sees me with my team, he always says, it's Austin and the Malemas.
I like that.
Right? And I don't think I did not know this until I started working with a team that, as an individual, you are great. There's the phrase that to go somewhere, somewhere is it
Somewhere, fast, you go by yourself.
You go by yourself. To go further,
Yes.
you go
Ooh,
with
yes.
with other people, with others, and that's what this really is. When I was an individual, I was able to do certain things by myself, but when I started building a team, I realized that each component is so important to build this car. Because everybody just sees the steering wheel or just the badge and they think, oh my God, that's a BMW. But when you have all these components together, they hold it together and they help you go further. And my team is very important to me because there's certain things that I can't see that they see, and there's certain things that I see that they better. And if I'm by myself, I'll just always see things with one perspective. And having a team balance you always kind of helps you bring the vision forward, but also broader for everybody else.
A lot of creatives, right, are very scared of sharing their work with other people. You have your name, right? And now you're saying, go shoot under my name, which is a very scary thing. So what do you have to say to those creatives who are scared of saying, okay, here, you can work with me?
I think the biggest thing that you can ever do for yourself is give yourself the opportunity to work with others because you get to learn from them. And it's not just an Austin Malema thing. You get to learn from me and my team and other people. And also, when you put your work out as a creative, the biggest thing that will ever happen is you will get judged for the quality of work. But what you have to do is take it in and learn from that.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. That's where you move from.
I love that.
Okay, so then as the Malemas, Nina, know, we are rephrasing it.
Yes.
What is your the Malemas' biggest achievement to date? Because there's a lot, eh?
Look, there's a lot for all of us. And some of them for me is the ability for me to walk away from certain jobs and have them do it. So there's this, we have a junior director who works with me on some of our jobs. And, sometimes a brief will come in for me and I'll put him forward as the director for it, right? And I'll work with him just to make sure that the clients are comfortable because they came looking for you, but when you present someone, then they're like, oh my God, we wanted you. But it's like, okay, cool. I am good, and I need you to work with someone else in my team so that they can show you that they're also able to do it. So I'll work with them. I'll be on set with them, holding their hand, just to show them what we need to do. And then once they achieve that, then I've achieved the trust of the client, and then I've also given someone a platform for them to raise themselves. And that's what I enjoy with my team. Right now, and I don't know if I should be saying this, there's a lot of work that I'm not taking personally, right? And that's because I've got an entire team where I want people to pick other people in my team. Here's a Hodzo who's a photographer. Let's take him instead of Austin. And sometimes I'll be like, oh, here's a brief that came in for me. Guys, can we get someone else to do it? Because it's a platform for them to grow. And if it's always going to be Austin Malema, it gets boring at some point, right? Because even my team is like, yeah, but I'm just a supporting structure.
Sure.
When am I going to get a platform to showcase my talent?
Yeah.
And it's such a weird thing that a lot of people with names who carry on doing this, they make themselves the main attraction and nobody else, right? But I prefer that, I was in a situation where I was overlooked.
Okay.
And I don't want to overlook other people, and I know how it feels. Hence, I would rather say, okay, cool, that was for me. Here's an opportunity for you to do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then you can grow because I'm already somewhere comfortable and you need to allow others to grow as well.
Yeah, Austin, it seems like you've done a lot of growing in the last 10, you said 13 years.
13.
So how is it being, one, a father?
Yeah.
But also, how is it being a father in a space that is not as safe and reliable as perhaps having a 9 to 5 that, every 25th, I can get this kid groceries in the fridge, school lunches and everything. But now you're a creative way. Yes, now you've built your business.
Yeah.
But it's never 100%
It's never
sure.
100% comfortable, I think being a father is great, man. I love being a father. I think that's the one thing that I really love about my life. My kids are the sunshine to my life, no matter what's happening. When I speak to them, I could be in a sad moment. My son will call me and he'll probably do a riddle with me. And I'll be like, oh my God, I'm not as smart. Or my daughter walks into the room and she just says, Daddy, Daddy. Then I know that I'm going to have a great moment. It kind of distracts me from parts of the sad things or the darkness that you experience in life, right? And being in this space where, nothing is really guaranteed, I do try very hard to make sure that, I take care of what I need to take care of at home more than anything else. Because, there's many struggles in life, right? But you don't want to be a struggling person who can't provide for those closest to you or those who need it.
Yeah.
And that's such a big thing. And it translates to being young Black people. I was gonna say young Black men because that's where the weight is on young Black men to provide for themselves and those who are around them. And none of them really speak of the difficulties of it. But I think I've had it easy, I've worked hard and have some savings.
My brother, you can't say I've had it easy and then say I worked hard. You worked hard, my brother.
Yeah, but I only say I've had it easy because it's not as always difficult to provide.
Sure, fair.
So I had my hard times where I worked through 5,000 rand for like an entire event.
Sure.
Or like 250 for something.
Yeah.
And now, I've learned how to be wise and how to work around that. And I'm also wise enough to say, you know what, there's these responsibilities to take care of at the end of the month.
Yeah.
So how are we taking care of them?
But you know what I realized that you've also done, and this is the whole reason why we're bringing in this jargon or just creating or realizing creatives as entrepreneurs is because you sort of eliminated that insecurity, that job insecurity, by creating a structure and a work environment for yourself that is a business on its own. And you did it to an extent that you don't even need to be there.
That's
for
the point.
Austin Malema to be there.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
That was the point. I think for the very first time I realized that my business could run without me was I went during the Paris week thing with Tusa. I was in LA for about 6 weeks and then Paris as well. And at that time, I was not hands-on in the functional part of the business. And it kind of proved that you have done really well.
Yep.
Like, because you don't have to be physically there for the business to run. You can just be on a Zoom call and do what you need to do. And then everybody else in the business will do what they need to do.
Yeah.
And that's when you know that, you know what, right now we've built a functioning business that does not require me. And that's something that I've strived for a long time.
Yeah.
Because I feel like for the longest time I was the business. And now the business is apart from me.
Its own
That's-
entity.
oh my
I love
word.
that. I love that.
Sabe we.
Hey, dude.
Okay, so bringing in all the elements that we touched on and lessons that you've learned from your life.
Yes.
What would your message of strength be to Mzansi?
Oh my God. There's a lot to
And this
deal
one's
with.
got to be personal.
There's a lot to deal with.
Yeah.
I think, you know what? There's a lot that's required from every individual, no matter where they come from and no matter where they are in life. You know, none of us are special because of what we do, because difficult times show up to all of us. We all go through difficult times. And I believe that we just need to be resilient, because it's not just for yourself.
Yeah.
What I do today is not just for me. What I do today is not just for my kids. What I do today is for everybody else in my circle that I work with, the people that people don't know, the people that are not in my team. I am not strong just for myself. I am strong because I work with 9 people in my team. I've got people who I freelance with. I've got all these other people that if I break, imagine what happens to them. And I'm not putting it as, you know, I am like holding up so many people, but what I do, what I build helps 10 other people cross. It's one little bridge that someone might see as, oh yeah, Austin just built this little bridge, but how many people are going to come past that bridge?
Yeah.
How many people are watching you build that bridge and also building other bridges for others?
Yes.
So for me, it's, you know, when it comes to strength, is you need to be strong for yourself and what you are doing for others as well. It's we're building communities, we're building companies, we're building income, we're building, you know, all the things that we're building is not just for us. It's for those who are around us and those who benefit from it most.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. The great social experiment.
Austin, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you guys for having me. Really enjoyed this.
We appreciate
This was so fun. I'm glad that I sat for this one through the cold. Guys,
Yeah.
we are indoors, but it is
fabat.
absolutely cold. Thank you so much for warming us up. You warmed our hearts up, and you left us with a beautiful message as well. Thank you so much for coming and listening or watching The State of the Strong. This was once again a Bull Brand podcast, and we will see you in the next episode.
Bye.
Peace out. Oh, damn.
Even has a nice apron, Chef Kabza.
How are you guys?
Oh, that looks good.
Goodness, what am I
looks
looking
good.
at?
So you're looking at a authentic Bull Brand cottage pie.
Oh, damn.
That looks
smells-
delicious.
What's
smells
the twist though?
good.
There's a South African twist to this.
We didn't use the mash, we used the pap.
Say nothing else. Thank you very
This
much,
smells-
Chef
This
Kabza.
smells good.
Thank you very much. Let's dig
Damn.
in,
Thank
guys.
you very much.
You got the cheese on that.
Oh, this is going to bang.
No, you're gonna get more of that meat in there. Come on now.
Yeah, I'm trying. I'm trying.
I'm telling you.
Wow, that looks good.
Definitely.
I tried to
Listen.
hit you with the presentation, but
Ooh-wee.
it's
Ah,
on
nah,
the
it's
plane.
all
Yes,
good.
wow. Okay,
That's
while
all good.
I wait for mine, if you guys are looking for this recipe or others just like this, go to bullbrand.co.za/recipe. You will not be disappointed. Ooh, is that for me? Thank you so much.